Hey guys, welcome back to Two Dudes Talking. Today we're going to get a little bit personal. Will and I decided to help you guys get to know us a little bit.
Yep.
We would like to share you a little bit of with you a little bit of ourselves. So we have our top 5 things. A little bit of movies, a little bit of film, books, TV shows, music, culture in general. So
going to see the dark side.
Yeah, so let's
start with your number 5. We're going to go down from 5 to 1. We're going to start with Josh's number 5 here.
My number 5, matter of fact, will you hop over here?
Yeah.
Can you do that real quick? Can you grab me that tan shirt right beside the outlet? My number 5 says Bob up here. Yeah, tan and blue. Thank you, sir. Boop. Bob. Band of Brothers was a Tom Hanks miniseries on HBO. I think it came out around 2002 or 3. I know I was still in high school, and it follows the Easy Company 2506 of, at that time, the 101st Airborne, which was created to deploy soldiers deeper into Europe in World War II. All-star cast, a couple of guys got their, first time on the big screen. Tom Hardy, Simon Pegg, really big names, great acting. But, I remember watching with my father, I was 13, 14 years old. And I was like, I get that. Those dudes are damn crazy. Mm-hmm. But I get that. I think I could do that. Fast forward another 10 years, and I ended up, enlisting in the service. I remember it was just such a cool thing. I got told I was going to Fort Campbell, which is the home of the 101st Airborne. It's a big discrepancy. Everybody's always about helicopters or airplanes. Now we use helicopters as opposed to in, a full-on invasion like that. But so I got sent to 101st Airborne at Kentucky. Called my dad. I was like, yo, I'm going to Kentucky. It's crazy. Had no idea where I was going.
Right.
And they didn't. And but Dad's like, oh, you know what's over there? And I was like, yeah, that's where them boys at, kind of thing. So I get to, the unit, the division, and they sent me over to that brigade, 4th Brigade. And I was like, all right, one step closer. So now instead of like 5,000, I'm down to like within the same 1,500. Mm-hmm. After my in-processing, I think I was there for maybe 3 or 4 months. And next thing I know, I got the call that I was going over to Easy Company. So I was with the guys featured the active duty, or the current version of the Band of Brothers, the same dudes that were the ones that kicked in like Hitler's Eagle's Nest mountaintop and drank his stuff. They drank his drink. Right. So like, I remember calling my dad after that one and being like, Dad, you're not going to believe this. Yeah. And, his excitement, my dad's a Vietnam vet, and we're both two of like the lovingest, like peaceful people you'll ever meet. But like me being a part of that it made him very proud, and that was a very big moment for me. I know one of his prized possessions is a painting of the original Easy Company guys in a coffee shop called the Café de Normandy. And I have it signed by all the surviving members that were the men speaking at the front of those episodes of each TV show. Really, really big for me. That's my number 5.
Yeah, Band of Brothers is great, dude.
Great.
That's some hard episodes.
Really, really hard. And very something I think anybody would be able to take something out of. It's amazing where we are and what we've paid to be here.
Yes, very much so. Very much so. Number 5 for me is kind of general, but it's space. I love space and the culture that the space race and all the things that it influenced that came of it. Mm-hmm. Space technology, like when people are like, why are we spending billions of dollars to go to the moon? It's a waste of money. It's all this stuff. It's all this stuff. Any given day, yes, you could argue that money can be spent better places. Right. You could end poverty. You could end all kinds of stuff. However, the money spent at NASA and space is not only to get us to the moon and collect rocks and look at stars that we'll never be able to reach or whatever. That money inspires a lot of technology that goes on in so many industries, you know, from microwave ovens to GPS in your cell phones
Right.
to cameras and, you know, all kinds of things. And so many people are involved in it, like everyday people. It's not just these old white guys that you think about when you think about NASA or whatever, but it's like just, you know, engineers and scientists and all these people that just go to school that discover these things. You know, one of the things about NASA in the 60s is like a lot of black people were responsible for a lot of these things. Like the lady that, I can't remember her name, but she was responsible for GPS.
Right.
Basically. And then there's the movie, I can't remember the movie, but it's about the 3 black ladies that were basically responsible for getting to the moon. You know, the math behind it. It's
Word.
like, yeah, that you would never have known that.
Right.
But like space in general, but like, so I love it. I love the thought of there's something out there. I'm not like an alien dude or whatever by any means. But the exploration of it is amazing. So I love movies and media based on that. Interstellar, 2001 Space Odyssey,
Right.
Apollo 13, all that. It's
Martian.
just, when I look at stars, like, and I do time lapses of the Milky Way or stuff like that,
Usually at my house.
usually at Josh's, the family farm, I am in complete awe, and I can really forget about anything that's going on down here. And it's awesome. So yeah, space.
Space.
Yeah.
No, space. It is super. I mean, I think same thing. We're trying to keep this one kind of short, but I love the idea of finding out what is out there.
Yeah,
You know,
I'm
that's just
totally
so-
down to know if there's aliens and stuff.
Right.
But I'm not the guy that's like, I gotta
waiting
see
for
aliens
that.
and handshake aliens and stuff. No.
Yeah, no, I'm more interested in these all potential planets for people to be living on 500 years from now
Yeah.
when we run out of space, or if there's a nuclear
Yes,
war. Like
absolutely.
I think there are absolutely vital reasons in our future
Yeah.
that we need to be looking to the stars.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know how that will manifest itself, but
Yeah.
it's really cool.
Yeah. It could be cool if humans are the only living creatures. Like, if they're not, that means there's awesome things. If we
Right.
are, that means that's an awesome thing too.
Right.
You know,
right.
it's just an attitude thing. So yeah.
But yeah,
Number 4.
numero cuatro. All right. Stephen King and Harry Potter. I'm going to go into this real quick. I love Harry Potter. I do. I think Harry Potter is great. The book series is phenomenal.
wizard, Harry.
You're a wizard. No. Hold on a second. The right Hagrid quote is, gosh, that guy. Robbie Coltrane. My man. I love you, Robbie.
Yeah.
But that it just kills me. So I love Harry Potter. Harry Potter, though, I did not start the books until the Half-Blood Prince. I had seen all the films, all the movies, loved them, seen them multiple times. I thought that's a great standout series, especially. I mean, yeah, it's more for children, at least the first few, but they did such a really good job of creating this world that was new at the time.
Right.
You know, it was wonderful. But so I finished I finished the book Half-Blood Prince and immediately, you know, bought the rest of the series. I was like, this is phenomenal.
Right.
And finished, I think it took me, it was an obscenely short amount of time. It was like 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks when I read the first way through the series, because I haven't had a cushy job, plenty of time to kick my feet up and read. And this is before Audible or any of that. So like, I have the book collections and stuff, but as good as it is, I would say the reason that Harry Potter is on there is because it reignited my interest in reading.
Yeah.
I mentioned this in another episode that I've read every full-length Stephen King novel. I think I've read all of his short collections except for 2. I mean, on writing, this guy's, the things I love about, I love Stephen King. I love Stephen King. If I could pick anybody's brain, it would probably be Stephen King, Danny DeVito. I don't know. He'd be interesting to talk to.
Shout out Danny.
Danny. I love you, Danny.
Danny.
But no, Stephen King is, he's been very powerful. I mentioned my father's prized possession on the Band of Brothers. My physical possession, favorite thing I own aside from my guns is a copy of Rage, which is he wrote these under the name Richard Bachman. There was like several books, 6, 7, 8 books. Shawshank, all these books didn't have any supernatural element to them at all. But Rage it's a short story about a kid that takes his class hostage, ends up killing a teacher and another student. I think he shoots another student, but that's the start of it. And then it's about Stockholm syndrome and how to treat your neighbor. Love thy neighbor. Seriously, why does this happen in the first place? What's unfortunate is that book, a copy of that short, was found on the desks of both Columbine shooters during the raid on their homes. So, I mean, it was within a week. It was pulled off of all the shelves in America, Europe, everywhere, Canada. Right. So, I mean, it's done. But Stephen King, since there, he's made me cry. He's made me laugh. I mean, I've identified with his characters more. We talk about character progression in movies and whatnot. Right. But when you've got some of these books that are like a 1,400 page, it's going to take you a couple of weeks to get through a story about the government releasing a chemical agent on the world. And you meet some of these characters. I mean, they're the best. Stephen King and Harry Potter. So Harry Potter led to Stephen King. That's my number 4, Stephen King.
Awesome. My number 4 is music in film. So I am a musician, drummer. My family comes from, I come from a musical family. My dad plays guitar. My mom plays piano. My sister was even in band in high school. Love music. Music is so important. And
universal language.
Yeah, I mean,
really is
for so many people. But in film, it's just the lifeblood of a film.
Right.
Joker. The Joker's great. I mean, there's so many. I won't even get into like magical scores, but just the importance of it is, music and film, like I said, is the lifeblood. It's what will make or break a film if you do it correctly. Absence of music is just as important as music. Don't get me wrong, like sound and the lack thereof is definitely important as well. But music is what will take it over the top. It'll help bad acting. It'll help sew together a montage. Right. It'll do all these things.
It's the glue.
Yeah.
I mean, it really brings it's a finishing touch.
So it's just important to me. So just real quick, some of my favorite composers are, Hans Zimmer's great. James Newton Howard is awesome.
Can you give everybody one familiar?
Yeah, so Hans Zimmer is like guys? Dark Knight,
right?
Series. James Newton Howard is Braveheart.
Celine Dion.
Oh God. But Thomas Newman is my favorite. Meet Joe Black, Revolutionary Road, Finding Nemo. The score of Finding Nemo it's like
heartbreaking at times.
God, it's good. So good. But yeah, music is number 4 for me. Music and film. Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah.
I mean, that was like one of the big focuses on our Dumb and Dumber conversation. It's just so good.
Soundtracks are so important.
Right. Well,
soundtracks will make a film or a TV show live longer than it would.
Yeah. Yep. For sure. I saw a tiger. Sorry.
Exactly. It's exactly.
Carol Baskins.
Yeah, Carol Baskins.
Man. All right. So
Jesus.
Have mercy on her soul.
Yeah.
My number 3 is I'm going to go ahead and go Game of Thrones. I'm going to be specific as well with the TV show. I was introduced to the TV show before I was the books.
Right.
I saw that series in its entirety, like live on television, like as it was coming out.
Right.
And that was one of the last of those that really, before things became so easy to instantly stream.
Right.
So that was one of the last shows I imagine I'll be ever watching at a friend's house. Shout out Emily and Michael. My gosh.
Shout out.
For real.
Wingards.
Right. So I mean, like, that's just a whole experience that I won't have anymore after that. I don't imagine, at least not for some time.
Yeah, not in the same way.
Not in the same way.
Yeah.
And that was such a fun way.
Yeah.
That weekly, let's go over here, let's hang out for an hour, have a glass of wine or whatnot, a couple beers, let's go watch our show, and then let's get our emotions ripped out.
Right.
Over and over again.
Over the red wedding.
The red wedding, I mentioned that earlier when I was with Easy 2506. I was deployed in Afghanistan in 2013. It took us it was so hard to get your hands on stuff.
Yeah.
You can only imagine what it's like in the third world. And when I finally got my hands on it, that one was.
Yeah.
I mean, we were so tense, and I did not need to watch that at that time of my life. I'm gonna be very, very clear. That killed me. Anyways, so that's my theory.
Game of Thrones. Yeah. So Game of Thrones, I didn't watch until the last season was coming out, and I binged it all in a month and a half, basically, leading up to it. Because I have two of the most annoying friends of the world.
So he has a bad habit of doing this. He did this with Game of Thrones, and at least he saved himself on this one. I'm going to say that.
Yeah.
You did go through and watch it. But same thing with the Marvel series, though.
Yeah.
None at all.
Yeah, I didn't watch any of the Marvel until
until
Infinity War was coming out, and I was like, yeah, I'll go check out some of these. And then I was like, damn, I love these things. But I will say that sometimes y'all be recommending some dumb shit.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Fido.
That's a great movie.
It's a terrible movie. Anyway.
We've given Fido so much publicity, by the way.
Yeah, Fido. Go check it out because it only made $400,000. So go check it out. Number 3 for me is Star Wars. Huge fan.
Is there anything in specific within that?
The universe.
Yeah.
The open, limitless universe of it.
Right.
How important to me it was as a little kid, and stormtroopers and lightsabers,
right?
And stuff like that, lasers, space. It goes back to space, and but the story of some of those characters is just amazing. The Skywalker saga basically, is just on one man's downfall.
Right. Your painting, is great.
So Vader going through, it's wild because it's a guy that couldn't get his shit together.
Right.
And then the world changes because of it. How many times in real life has it happened? Probably, it's
if it just happened 4 more times down the street.
Yeah. If a president didn't do it, or, a world leader in ancient Rome couldn't get over something or felt a certain way about something, how the world changed. I mean, it happens. Right. It's amazing. It's just, they're not the best films, None of them are the best movies, best picture, none of that. The acting is questionable in a lot of them, for sure. But the moments are good.
Right.
The overall universe of it is just so good.
The release of Star Wars is so cool to me. I mean, I think it was just brilliant. I've never seen the level of backtracking of that. I mean, you do 4, 5, 6, starting out at 4, 5, 6,
But when they were released, they were just released as episodes.
Right.
And then they were like, yeah, let's do a prequels and then let's make those 4, 5, 6. But
but I'm saying
it's awesome.
The way that pans out
yeah.
is amazing. It's just
so good.
So good.
So Star Wars is number 3 for me. It's huge. It's a universe I will never not escaping to.
Can I get you to do something for me real quick while we're talking about Star Wars?
Yeah.
I'm going to say something, and I want you to continue it on.
Okay.
I'm just going to be that guy playing the saxophone in the cantina. And then you say, I've been waiting my whole life to do this. Let's have that.
Okay. Just that thing?
Yeah. That. I love that.
That's so much of the cheesy, but yeah, Josh definitely would be playing that flute in the Oasis.
I'd be rocking it out.
I always wanted to do this.
I've always wanted to. Let's get physical.
Let's get physical. All right, you're number 2.
Okay, so I think we should. I'm gonna switch my 2 and 1 so that we can talk. Because we can talk about this thing together here. So my number 2 is Will's number 1. I'm gonna skip ahead of that a little bit and talk about the offspring of my number 2 and 3. So Game of Thrones and my other favorite thing, Lord of the Rings. Love Lord of the Rings, but I'm going to talk about Wheel of Time for a second.
Yeah.
So,
which is your number 1?
That is my number 1. But we're going to come back to Lord of the Rings to talk together. So, Wheel of Time is a 14-book with an offshoot series that was written by Robert Jordan, this guy from Charleston, South Carolina. it's virtually if Lord of the Rings had a baby with Game of Thrones, that's what you can expect. And I know Amazon has the new TV show based on Lord of the Rings coming out. Immediately on the heels of that and the closure of Game of Thrones, we have Amazon sponsored or produced Wheel of Time as well.
Right.
I cannot wait. I remember with that audiobook, the very, very last one. So I've listened to this series at least twice in its entirety. Some of the books probably 3-4 times.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm cutting grass for 7 hours on a giant farm.
Right.
You know, I've got time for this. But I remember the last battle, a chapter called "The Last Battle," and when I looked at I started it, and then I didn't catch the time, so I went back to screenshot how long this thing was. This is one chapter of a fight scene, and it was like 8.5 hours long. So this series, all in its entirety, takes 24.6 or 26.4 days to listen to from start to finish.
Dang.
And I mean, again, you can just picture 5 or 6 characters from a very Tolkien-esque situation getting thrown into a very Game of Worlds dark world.
Yeah.
Love it. Beautiful. Laughed, cried, was very satisfied. Very satisfied. One more fun fact before I hop off of that and let you do that. The last book was supposed to be called A Memory of Light. Robert Jordan was ill, fell terminally ill, and that was in
When were these
right
books
after
written?
70s. They
Okay.
started in the 70s,
Cool.
and they finished within the past 7 or 8 years.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, recently finished.
Nice.
So after book 11 of 14, Robert Jordan couldn't do it anymore. He got in contact with a guy named Brandon Sanderson, and that guy took his notes and whatnot. And there was so much that Robert Jordan was trying to finish out before he died that it ended up taking 3 more books.
Right.
And that just skyrocketed Brandon Sanderson's career as well.
Oh, yeah.
And he did such a. I don't know of many situations where somebody else has to come in and step in like that.
Right.
But man, what a happy ghost Robert Jordan must be right now.
Yeah.
Seriously, it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. I can't really get into too many details when I have enough time.
What like?
But,
so in a sentence, why is it your number one
the relationships, they're very
of the characters?
of the characters, the progression of the characters and the relationships of the characters. There are people that absolutely turn 180 degrees when they're confronted with power or the loss of that, their
Right.
identity crises. But there's people that don't change a hair on their body from book 1 to book 14, and it's so satisfying to watch because people try it.
Yeah.
I mean, people, some of these characters, the characters are great. My nephew is named after
Right.
one of these characters,
Right.
and it's great.
That's
It's just so again, Lord of the Rings has a baby with Game of Thrones, and
Yeah.
it's a little darker. Very good.
I do need to check those out. I don't know if I have the time though, but I will check. But
Cliff notes. All right.
So yeah, my number 2. Yeah, I think I will watch that show when it comes out for sure. Number 2 for me is The Royal Tenenbaums. I love this movie, man. I am a big Wes Anderson fan.
Right.
In college, I was a huge Wes Anderson fan. I'm not the stereotypical Wes Anderson fan. I'm not a hipster.
Right.
You know, I'm a nerd, but I'm not a hipster.
Same.
I don't dress like characters dress, like the whole 9 yards. I was Richie Tannenbaum for Halloween one year, which was dope.
That's right.
Tennis racket,
Yeah.
all that, camel hair blazer, all that good stuff. It's my favorite movie. It's my favorite movie because Lord of the Rings and Star Wars movies are series, and they can't be my favorite movie. But Royal Tenenbaums is such a good, awesome dramedy,
Right.
if you will. And it's a lot like the reason for your Wheel of Time is the characters and the relationships.
Mm-hmm.
You got this like awesome, middle class family that's exceptional in all kinds of things. And then the demise just hits all of them.
Right.
It just breaks the family up.
Right.
And so the movie then is just them trying to get back to the glory days,
It's
essentially.
a little Miss Sunshiny.
Yeah,
Kinda.
and
It's
there's so many good lines in that movie that are just like,
I'm a big fan of Life Aquatic.
yeah, Life Aquatic's great.
So that's
Life Aquatic's got amazing soundtrack, and then but yes, it's just like there's so many one-liners in that as well.
right.
But Royal Tenenbaums was actually nominated for best script,
Word.
best
I did not know
screenplay.
that.
Yeah, and I don't think Wes Anderson gets nominated a lot. I think
Right.
some of his later movies have been best picture, maybe Grand Budapest Hotel and stuff. I actually haven't even liked some of his last stuff,
Right.
to be honest. But Royal Tenenbaums to me there's scenes in that movie that are just my favorite scenes out of any movie.
Right. Give us one,
It's
2, 3.
By the way of the Green Line bus, when Margot's getting off and she's meeting Richie. It's this slow-mo shot of just her. It's like he loves her.
Right.
And it's his adopted sister, so it's not weird.
Right.
I mean, it is weird in a way.
It's uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's uncomfortable, but it's like, and they even poke fun at that in the movie where it's like, well, not blood,
Right,
that type of thing. But I mean, it's funny because the film goes through this innocent relationship of this brother and sister who she was adopted, but they were just best friends, spent every waking moment with each other. They go their separate ways, come back as an adults and find out that they do love each other.
Right.
Like they, but just so good. But there's a line in the film with Royal Tenenbaum, which is Gene Hackman.
I love Gene Hackman.
Yeah, dude.
I love
so
Gene Hackman.
good. And he is, everyone hates him. He's an asshole.
Yeah, he
like
is.
he just hates him. And they go to Richie Tenenbaum, who's played by Luke Wilson's friend, his house. They go to his house and they're trying to get him off drugs, trying to get him some help.
Right.
And his name's Eli Cash, played by Owen Wilson.
Right.
And
I love the Wilsons.
yeah,
That's a great movie.
It's a great
You're talking
cast.
about
Ben
great
Stiller's in
cast.
it.
Yeah.
It's, anyway, I know I'm kind of dragging here, but like Eli Cash is this kid that grew up going to the Tenenbaum's house, and he's like, I always wanted to be a Tenenbaum.
Right.
And then the next line from Gene Hackman is "Me too," and it's like you get this. Yeah, it's like you're the guy that's responsible for the Tenenbaum name,
Right.
yet you didn't get to be a part of all their lives because of
Most despised.
your own
person.
decisions.
Yeah.
But like you did want to be a Tenenbaum.
Right.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's an amazing film. That movie means a lot to me because it's so cool. I talked to Josh about this a lot with Wade. Is Josh and Wade, his brother, they love to share stuff. They love to share movies. They love to share, what they love.
Things that give us
with
joy.
people. Yeah, they love it, and it's awesome.
For sure.
And it's like,
For you guys.
yeah. But I also love to discover things on my own too. And it's just really cool to do that. And the Royal Tenenbaums, I just saw the DVD in a movie video update. There's like a local chain of video rentals, whatever. I saw the DVD in the video update for sale one day as like a 14-year-old kid. And I was
Right.
like, yeah, I just want to buy that movie. I like that cast. That looks cool. Bill Murray's in it.
Right.
Ben Stiller's in it. Bought it. Fell in love with it.
Right.
Like no one told me about it. Nothing
just
had
your happy
anything.
place.
Yeah, it was just like
Yeah.
boom. And it's my favorite movie ever.
And this is my life now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's my favorite movie ever. I love that. I love
great.
the story behind that. So that's cool. But
Well,
yeah.
it's all yours. For
Yeah,
sure.
it's
For
like,
sure.
yeah, it's just, I like being able to like and love stuff for me. And everybody should, but it's like the stuff that you come across by yourself sometimes is just so awesome.
Right.
You know what I mean? Obviously, like Star Wars and Lord of the Rings introduced by my dad.
Right.
Bands like Blink-182 and stuff introduced by my sister. You know, there's everything. There's so much stuff you'll love that's introduced by somebody else, but just finding it on your own is cool too. It's dope. So
It
yeah,
is.
yeah. So your number 2, my number 1, Lord of the Rings.
Same reasoning. I couldn't. It can't. I mean, I don't know why I had to
Yeah,
make it all funky there.
Yeah.
But man, so Lord of the Rings. You brought this up the other day.
Yeah.
I hated reading.
Right.
Hated reading
At a young age.
at a younger age.
Yeah.
I read Alive about the rugby team that crashed in the Andes for a
Wow. Yeah.
I think 10th grade project.
Tough read.
It's a great read. Tough read. A tough read. And I didn't read another full-length novel until the Half-Blood Prince came out.
Right.
So just kind of threw me for one.
So you read that first before all the other ones?
Yeah.
That's wild.
Well, I wanted to read it and be able to compare it before I saw the film.
Okay.
Before I saw the movie that time. I was like, I've liked these movies so much.
Gotcha.
I know if this book's good. Then
so you had already seen the previous movies. You just
right,
hadn't read this book.
absolutely.
Gotcha. I was like...
And so with Lord of the Rings, I had read The Fellowship and The Hobbit, but not the third and fourth until after seeing the movies.
Right.
So, and I think that was the right way to do it for me.
Right.
Because like, this is something you've talked about. Like, there's stuff that you know, I'm missing out on, or I was missing out on, but I didn't know it.
Right. Yeah.
But
to me, your first introduction of stuff is probably pretty important because, like, let's say it's the movie as opposed to the book. You know, if you read the book first, you have your own imagination. And that's way more important than probably someone's perceived imagination.
Wheel of Time, Dark Towers. Here,
yeah, you know what I mean? Like, if J.K. Rowling made the movies, then it's the closest thing to the books as her initial vision.
Right.
But that never happens. So you saw the movies first, but you had read The Hobbit or The Fellowship?
I'd read The Hobbit and The Fellowship. So when The Fellowship of the Ring came out, I had read that before.
Yeah.
As a little kid, I mean, as a little younger, I would pick up a big book and go for it. You know, I really would.
Just a big book.
I remember I read Needful Things by Stephen King when I was like 10 years old.
Wow.
Had no idea of some of the harder stuff that movie was, or book was about.
Yeah.
No idea. But just got a wild hair up my butt and decided I wanted to read this
Stephen
King book.
Yeah.
So like, the things that I enjoy are probably very different. So you go ahead, give us some of your
Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, my dad introduced it to me when I was 4 or 5. You know, in so many ways, there was those original cartoon movies, that he would, he bought to kind of introduce it to me, basically.
Great little things. Too.
He has a brother. Shout out Uncle John,
Uncle John,
who is 1 year older, who would basically introduce Dad to everything.
Word.
You know, books, music, definitely music. But John bought The Hobbit one day, read it, brought it home. Dad picked it up.
Right.
You know, boom.
Done.
And it's just like, it's like kind of important to the family almost. You know, it's just a great book that everybody likes. And then The Lord of the Rings, obviously. But I remember my dad, he loves them so much, he would just read certain chapters.
Right. Oh yeah. No, I have a few like that.
Yeah. He's like, I'll just go read that chapter. Like, his favorite chapter in all of them probably, I think, is in The Two Towers when Gandalf comes back.
Right.
He's like, that's like my favorite thing ever.
So,
which is dope.
The books.
Yeah.
So, I had read the first two, The Hobbit and The Fellowship.
Right.
When I came back from Afghanistan, I had a lot of issues driving through the mountains. Again, I don't claim PTSD, but I had some things that took me a while to shake off.
Right.
And one of my buddies, so I was in Fort Campbell, Kentucky, coming back down to South Carolina. So I'd go through the Smoky Mountains every time. I mean, my knuckles would be white every time on the steering wheel. Right. And one of my buddies recommended checking out an audiobook to kind of help give me something to ease that.
Right.
First one was the BBC airing of The Hobbit.
Ah, yeah.
And it was like 20 old British dudes.
Right.
And I mean, the riddle scene with Smeagol, Gollum, oh my gosh, it was so intense.
Riddles in the Dark.
Riddles in the Dark. And it was dark. It was dark. And such a beautiful job.
Yeah.
So like, I've got a couple, there's that in this, I'm going to put that in the Lord of the Rings umbrella that, you know, is just so special to me.
Yeah.
You know, from there, I was able to cope with something that I know that the second time coming home after recognizing that I had that problem, like problems with this, like I started dreading going home.
Right.
And, having something that I already enjoyed so much in this series, be a part of the correction of that was just really, really dope.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's that's what stories and movies and stuff like that is supposed to do. Is
Right.
Is get you out of it. You know.
And it did. Totally did.
Yeah.
I can drive easy now.
Yeah. Yeah. Congrats.
Thanks.
Yeah. That's huge.
It is. It really is.
Yeah. I mean, the Lord of the Rings movies were so important to me because the ones that made me pick up a camera.
Yeah.
The behind the scenes, I've watched those probably as many times as the movies themselves.
Right.
Because it's amazing. I mean, I remember like some of my best friends not laughing at me, but giving me hell for it.
Oh yeah.
You know, just
yeah,
like
for sure.
Dude, you're a nerd.
A nerd.
Yeah. Like couldn't understand it. You
Right.
know, just the love of it. You know what I
Right.
mean? It's like, nope, sorry. You know,
Yeah.
don't care.
Guess so.
Don't care. Yeah, take a hike. But yeah, the movies are so important to me from a career perspective, from a creative thing. The books, you know, because, you know, what, you know, little boys like what their dads are into.
Right.
You know what I mean? So there's that aspect of it. But the stories themselves, man, they have so many good life lessons in them. It's just, it's insane.
Some very not necessarily hard lessons, but some that I've seen that are very hard for people to accept.
Yeah.
In that series,
Like you can't. Yeah. I mean,
sometimes there's just nothing you can do,
yeah.
and that's a very, very difficult one for people. As much as we crave our control,
Right.
you know, it's funny you say little boys love what their dads are into.
Yeah.
So I've got my little girl.
Right. And little girls
Harry
too.
Potter.
Yeah.
Oh, no, it's just
Yeah.
it's so funny because
Yeah.
she's Harry Potter nerd, Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Like listens
Which I
to,
think's awesome.
Listens to Bob. Thank you.
Yeah.
Listens to Bob Marley and
Right.
like the I love it. I love it. She
Yeah.
is so lucky she didn't grow up when we did, because like you know how many nerdy boys she would have had to deal with. Oh, we weren't cool back in those days.
Yeah. No,
Not at all.
no. Layla is dope for that. I remember you telling me her like you allowing her to watch Harry Potter's for the first time, you know, and some scenes of it, and you know, like the Goblet of Fire.
Oh,
when
yeah.
Voldemort comes back and stuff like
Yeah,
that. It's just
yeah.
like those are dope moments that you gotta have.
Right.
You know.
Well-
yeah, it's awesome.
Well, that moment you're talking about, I'll get to the Goblet of Fire real quick. I'll
Yeah.
do a shorty on that one. But Lord of the Rings, at the end of the Fellowship
Right.
with Boromir, like when I was in theaters, even having read that,
Yeah.
I wasn't ready to see Sean Bean die for the 50th time on screen.
No.
You know, I was not ready for that. And it's just so emotional. Like Mike,
Yeah,
you know, all of our nephews and Layla have seen stuff like that, and they're just,
No.
you let me watch this? And I'm like, yeah, get used to it.
They're the best.
They are.
They're the best.
But
I think they're important beyond all of the other ones because I really couldn't imagine a world without it.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yep.
Like that's kind of how it is. So.
We'll get to space. Yeah,
Yeah.
we will.
Yeah,
for
we'll get
sure.
to space. Star Wars may
What if
never
that
happen.
hadn't happened though?
Yeah.
What if Gandalf never hated Pippin?
Yeah. Damn you, Pippin.
Oh my gosh, fool of a joke.
Full of a took. So yeah, I think we're about out of time, and
Oh,
I think we need to. We'll have more of these
goodbye to
top
the
5,
people.
top
Yeah.
10s. You know,
Well,
we'll have more favorites
For
No
sure. Oh,
doubt.
for
'Cause
sure.
we need way
Favorites.
more time to like almost all of these will have its own episode.
right. I think we could absolutely go into
Hands
that.
down.
But thank you for joining us for our
Yep.
first insight into our top 5s. Two dudes talking. It's a pleasure to be with you as always. Give us your top. Put it in the comment section. We
Yeah.
want to engage with you. That is the purpose of this thing, and we can't wait to hear. So like, subscribe, and we'll see y'all next time.
See you next time, guys. Hey guys, thanks for joining us for this episode. We definitely enjoyed sharing our top 5 major media influences, if you will. There's going to be more to come. It kind of changes somewhat sometimes, but give us your top 5 in the comments below. Make sure you like and subscribe to this channel, and share this video with your grandma. See you guys soon.